Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we're here with Dr. Shawn Weiss. And Shawn and I are talking about living your best life as far as optimal health. And Shawn, I was really interested. You talked a little bit in our first segment, for those of you that are just joining us, about the 6 pillars of optimal health. And I think that's one of the things that maybe we forget about. We forget about maybe we're good in certain areas, but we're not. But we're also going through changes in our body, are we not?
Absolutely. One of the first things when you get over 50 that you're losing is muscle mass. And that is so important. And, increasing your protein, make sure you're strength training. A lot of people feel conflicted about, should they be lifting weights? Absolutely. You should be doing resistance training. So muscle mass loss is one of the first things that happen as we start aging. We're also losing bone density. And as we age, that could increase your risk for fractures, which we certainly don't want to have happen. But you also see other things. Our bladder changes. I can attest.
Amen.
To the immune system, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's less elastic. So, the muscles in your pelvic floor start to weaken. So you might have, there's 2 different types of incontinence, but you might see either urge incontinence or stress incontinence. The list goes on and on. Our intestines, in our large intestines, typically results of medication, certainly hormonal changes, hydration, can cause things like constipation. So things are not metabolized.
Yeah. Do you know what I've noticed since I've gotten older? I can't eat as much food as I used to. I wish I'd lose more weight, but I don't have, I used to be able to sit down and eat a whole plate of food. It's too much for me. And I can never finish something in a restaurant. That never used to be an issue for me. And that's got to be part of it, isn't it, Shawn?
Part of your gut health. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Because you're having so many different changes, and especially women, after we've gone through menopause, which I'm in that category, things are metabolized differently. Your gut health has, role. Our hormones play a huge role in how our gut is starting to, and you metabolize food and inflammatory foods, etc. The things that we could do when we were 20 are not going to work now that we are postmenopausal. So most definitely, I see those same changes as well. Vision and hearing, again, those definitely change, and that's pretty self-explanatory.
Sure.
As we look at ourselves, our parents, our grandparents, vision changes, hearing changes, even affect our balance. Those are 2 main balance systems, as your vestibular, your vision. So changes definitely affect us.
Yeah. So you talked about the very first one is physical, and about moving. I think, I even movement, it's like my years with Tony Robbins. He used to say, emotion is created by motion. In other words, moving your body can create a dopamine better, in better mental health. And I'm sure that that's kind of the foundation to so much of life, is it not?
Well, yeah, especially like I said, since COVID, emotional mental health, the issues I've seen is just staggering. And the number one thing you can do is exercise. There's so many thousands of medical studies that are showing that decreases depression, decreases anxiety, improves sleep. So certainly exercise plays a huge role in that. Not only that, but your heart health. Exercise, getting your heart rate up, improves your cardiovascular endurance. February's Heart Month too, so we can't forget that one.
Absolutely.
We also look at over 50 of starting now on working for balance and fall risk reduction. And you and I have done several podcasts on fall reduction.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, as a certified fall prevention specialist, I tell you, I look at that lens with every single person that I come into contact with. So something else. Go ahead.
And when you say that, it's like, how often do we go into a situation where we don't even breathe where, we talk about lack of movement, and I know that a lot of the things that you're talking about later regarding stress and things like that, our muscles tense up, and we get into a situation where, that can affect. So even to be able to relieve stress has to be huge in movement.
Stress reduction plays such a vital role. And if you look at even when I was in my 20s and 30s, just society in general, our world is different.
Sure.
It is just a non-stop world. There's just a lot of chaos. People don't know how to navigate it. They're having incredibly high stress levels, which will start throwing out cortisol, especially with women in menopausal age.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's going to affect your sleep. It's going to
Yeah.
affect your overall health. It creates anxiety. It's a vicious cycle, and that's why it's such an important pillar of health that we address.
Yeah, yeah. And I think about when you talk about brain health with movement. Tell us a little bit about how that how that affects those with cognition.
Well, if you think about anytime you exercise, right, you're going to have an increase in blood flow everywhere, right? So
Right.
increasing blood flow to the brain is one of the primary, reasons why you do exercise.
Right.
But so many studies are out there that show if you're starting to have cognitive decline, daily exercise of any kind, just increasing activity levels,
Sure.
not only improves digestion, it improves sleep, it reduces behavioral problems, it reduces falls and balance issues. The list goes on and on. It's just so beneficial. And we do a lot of work also in memory care units and assisted living communities. And one of the biggest things, and like we are going to get people moving.
Yeah.
Like I said, even digestion and appetite is a huge problem in these communities with, in the dining rooms and all the things that they see. Getting them to move, we're seeing remarkable benefits, and the studies are showing that it's helping them improve their quality of life, stay stronger, build muscle mass, all of the same.
It's interesting, Shawn, you say this, because my mother, when she was in assisted living, she was afraid to walk. Not that she couldn't walk, but she chose to sit in the wheelchair because she was afraid of falling. I'm sure she had fallen a few times, and I'm sure that there's an element of psyche where, does that affect the fear of falling? Does that affect someone from exercise?
Absolutely. I would say 7 out of 10 of the residents that I treat that are over 65 have a fear of falling. And what happens when you have a fear of falling? It creates a vicious cycle.
Sure.
We're going to stop doing activities. We're not going to go out as much. We're not going to get involved and socialize as much. So
Totally
just
true.
that pattern alone, you're starting to have decline in major body systems, major organs, right? So your heart health starts healing. Your muscles mass starts going down. So fear of falling starts that whole vicious cycle. So addressing that with improving safety measures, increasing exercise sessions, daily, really plays a role in that.
And for those that have mobility challenges, there's chair exercises, things that they can do with seniors.
Absolutely. And when you're over 50, like I said, there's something for everybody. And that's so important. Again, one size does not fit all. And that's why, you need to take into account your health history. Do you have any diseases? Have you had surgeries? Do you have pain? Because, if you see something on the internet, that might not work for you. I mean, I've had a knee replaced, and I'm going to be 54. I have to be careful with certain things. I can't do everything.
Yeah. And so Shawn and I, we're going to be back right after this, and we're going to talk a little bit in our last segment about the gut-brain connection and how to balance your functional wellness right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.